Our children are suffering, and it's our fault. What would you do to ensure your child's success? You'd probably do anything. If you're like me, you probably want your kid to have good grades and go to college and be the best that he can be. And I don't blame you. I'm a father of one, expecting my second. And I played football for more than 10 years. Nobody likes the game of football more than I do. I played it every day. I played over 80 games over my 10-year career. And I watched the game every weekend. Nobody likes football more than I do, I promise you. But when something's wrong, something's wrong. And right now, our children are suffering at the hands of our negligence. Brain damage is something that's associated with football. At this point, we all know that. Our own Robert Moran out of Boston University tells us that every year earlier that a child starts to play football results in 2.4 years earlier diagnosis of cognitive issues, or at least symptoms. Think about that. Your child started playing at 5 as opposed to 10, as opposed to 15. That's a 10 to 20 year difference in early signs of cognitive issues. That's staggering. But it doesn't end there. The outreach of cognitive issues doesn't limit only the person who plays. Your child not being in football is not immune to the effects of behavioral issues. If you think about it, our mass murderers have had cognitive issues and behavioral problems. I want that to resonate with you for a moment. We don't need the next tragedy to happen because of our negligence and our, simply put, abuse on our children's minds. We can stop this from happening with one simple step. We must outlaw tackle football at the youth level. There's no reason kids should be engaging in this sort of violent act until they're at least in high school, at the very least. Even the professional level is trying to change the game as we know it. They've implemented new techniques, they've implemented new penalties, equipment, data, studies. They've poured millions and millions and millions of dollars into concussion research. Kevin Seifert out of ESPN, who's a senior writer, tells us that those who participate and observe the NFL can see how this data is continuously updated every offseason. They're spending a lot of time studying the effects of football. And understanding the data is simple. Every year, if you take the hitting away from an early age, you minimize the effects on the child's brain. There's a name I want to resonate with you today. Don't forget this. Anusha Tasako. She was 13 years old, a Muay Thai fighter out of Thailand. Now, for those who don't know, in Thailand, Muay Thai and boxing is just as popular as American football. Anusha Tasako died in the ring because of a brain hemorrhage after she was knocked out. I want you to think about that. Is that what we're waiting for? For somebody to die on the field? That moment urged Thai lawmakers to change everything about the way they look at Muay Thai. They put new laws, very strict ones, into how early can a child start fighting. Saying that sentence even bothers me. How early can a child start fighting? That's essentially what we do here in America when we make our children play tackle football. Our children can benefit everything that football has to offer without the violent part. Discipline, hard work, teamwork, goal-oriented design, exercise. They don't have to hit their heads to benefit from that. With that being said, outlawing football won't be easy. This might be the hardest battle we are. This is America's game. Everybody likes football. But with the help of our politicians, we can make it happen. Linda Hepler, who's an RN out of University of California, Irvine, she tells us that if a child continues to play over and over, season after season, the cellular injuries that they accumulate will become irreversible. And they'll end up suffering from something called CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which has been known to be called the football disease. The problem with CTE is that we can't diagnose it until after death. Think about that. You have to die before we can figure out why you went crazy. If you haven't seen the CTE documentary, I highly advise it. So with that being said, legislation must pass. With the help of our lawmakers, our elected officials, and the mass movement of the people, we can change the reality that is child brain damage. The federal government must implore our nation to act on tackle football not being around until at least high school. Our children are counting on us. Because without it, the brain damage will continue. The possibilities of our future take a nosedive, and your own family can be affected by something that's not even your fault. And if you don't act, it kind of is. I hope this has changed the way you think about the game. I've gone ahead and started a petition for you to sign. Go to change.org, sign the petition that says outlaw tackle football in youth sports. Our children simply don't need it.